Well, guys, it's a ridiculous night, but it's not the ridiculous night. It's day one edition, E3. Uh, yeah, E3, day one is today.
It happened.
It's all done. Day one is over. Everyone's packed their bags. They've gone home for the night. They're sitting there. They're sitting down in their hotel rooms, drinking their nice, neat whiskey, with a cigar, maybe a pipe, in their smokers' jackets, just thinking, E3.
Would that be
E3?
would that be like officially branded or the Order 1886 pipes?
Yes. Maker's Mark 1886.
It's a great year. They found a barrel of whiskey from that era. It's weird. This is Ranj and Riddick, but it's not the morning.
No, it is not the morning. It is a complete different time. I'm in my great clothes. I did not dress up for this today because I kind of got home from work, took off my scrubs, and this is what you get.
Yeah, my job is a freelance journalist, which may be coming to an end because I might get a job.
Oh no, not a job! Run away!
Sweet mother of God. I love things like stability and benefits. But yeah, speaking of benefits of owning next-gen consoles, you would find out if it was worth it today.
Absolutely. We had four press conferences today.
Yes.
We had Xbox starting out the morning. We then had EA.
Yes.
Then we had wonderful Ubisoft.
Right.
And then you always save the best for last. Sony.
Yeah, we'll talk about. I want to focus primarily on the first party stuff because the third party stuff is always interesting. Like EA and Ubisoft actually announced some interesting stuff. But I want to talk a little bit about the Microsoft, and I want to talk a little bit about the Sony. And then tomorrow I want to talk about a little bit about the Nintendo.
What? You want to talk about Nintendo when the Nintendo conference has happened?
Yes, once the Nintendo conference, it's an SAT word, folks.
Yeah.
Airs, yes, then we could talk about it. But no, let's talk about Microsoft. So I watched Microsoft Live. I woke up in the morning. I felt, like.
Did you watch Microsoft Live on Xbox Live?
Considering I haven't owned a Microsoft console since 2011, no, I didn't. I watched it on my computer, my Mac.
Real quick, Brandt, I want you to be quiet for a second.
Sure.
Xbox off. Yes. You're welcome, everyone that was listening to this on an Xbox.
You're such a prick. Actually, that may have not affected them because today, actually, coinciding with the Microsoft press conference, very important, the Connectless Xbox One was released.
Yes, it was.
$399.
Connectless Xbox One. It's almost like they should have done this to begin with.
Almost. They were one press conference too late. It was interesting because they pulled like a 1 year later Sega Saturn, where they're like, yeah, today we gave you all a bunch of notice. The Xbox One Sans Connect comes out today, and now it almost felt like their press conference was like a relaunch of the system because it was a 90-minute presentation and it was 90 minutes of games done. No bureaucracy, no people coming out from Microsoft. Phil Spencer came out at the beginning, came out at the halfway mark, came out at the end for a total of maybe 2 minutes. Said, okay, these are the games coming out this year. Okay, those are the games that are coming out this year. These are the games coming out next year. Okay, those are the games that are coming out next year and beyond. Okay, great. And he said beyond a couple of times, and I was like, And then he just bounced.
So, Brandt, let me get this straight.
Yeah.
We're at E3.
Yes.
A video games conference.
Yes.
Where video game creators go to talk about video games that are coming out.
Yes.
And you're telling me that one of the big companies that makes these consoles that play video games went on stage this morning.
Right.
And they talked about video games?
100% of the time, yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Weird. Because, last year, some might recall Microsoft getting up there and not talking about games.
Some might recall about an hour and a half ago Sony getting up this year and not talking about video games, but we'll get to that later.
We will get to that, because I have some things to say about that as well.
Oh, so do I.
But so what to you were your favorite things about the Xbox or the Microsoft press conference?
I like the format a lot. Again, games, 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 games. I don't have an Xbox One, and nothing that was shown today makes me at all interested in owning an Xbox One. It doesn't make me feel. It doesn't give me any Xbox One envy.
I want the Master Chief Collection.
But it did make me happy for people who do have an Xbox One and want an Xbox One, because it really felt as though they were talking to that audience. Okay, so the conference kicks off with a trailer for Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, and then it segues into a demo for the game, and it shows that
a Call of Duty game. Oh
yeah,
yes.
But again, okay. So let's see. It's still, every time it comes out, it breaks sales records, and every single time it always becomes the fastest and highest selling media product on the face of the earth in history. So whatever, it's billions of dollars in the bank.
You are absolutely right.
So you have to do that. It always sells best on Xbox, or it has for the past generation. You know, the Xbox 360 was quick to adopt the original Modern Warfare game back in 2007. And quickly became the main SKU, and actually, it's a system seller, to be honest, and it's annualizable, and you can hate it or whatever. I have no interest in it, even though some parts look kind of interesting. But I'm glad for the people that are Call of Duty fans and Xbox One fans, because they were given from the outset something large and new and fun and in their wheelhouse to look forward to.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Have you watched the press conference?
I have not had a chance to. I got home and I was catching up on the news, so I didn't get a chance to watch the conference.
Well, if you are in the same boat as Ben, you can go to nkrn.org, and I have a nice 900-word write-up of just the stuff that they showed. So if you want a rundown of games that they showed in order and what they showed, i.e. a trailer or a demo, and then you can seek those out. Actually, I might go back and I'm sorry, just kind of random tweet that came in from the side. But if you, I might throw in the links to trailers and stuff as they become available on YouTube. I wrote this up right after the conference ended, and I'll also have a companion piece to it about what many of the things that I say here tonight. I will synthesize and think about and throw some journalism dust on it and publish a piece about how I overall think Microsoft did. But then they showed
them on a scale of 1 to 10.
Sure, I would say 9. They had a really, really nice showing. I mean, there's one game that I was interested in, and I will find the subtitle. It's called Ori and the Blind Forest. It was about a 60-second trailer from an indie studio called Moon Studio, who I'd never heard of before. They might be new, and it looked interesting. I have a friend who has an Xbox One, and I will, I'd have no problem buying that game and playing it on his console. But none of the big first party or even third party games really grabbed me. They showed off Forza, they showed off Assassin's Creed, which is again not cross-gen, but it's multi-platform. It's multi-platform and it's on a new engine, so it's exclusively next-gen, which is also very kind of cool.
Yeah, I like exclusively next-gen, because it makes me feel good. You know what game in this press conference that I am kind of bummed that I won't be able to play because I don't have an Xbox One?
What?
Phantom Dust.
Mm-hmm.
That game on the original Xbox was one of my favorite games, and I had such a blast playing it. And it's coming out. They're re-releasing it as a new game for the Xbox One.
It was definitely a curveball too, right? Yeah, nobody had leaked this or thought that this would happen.
Well, I mean, and it's not when you think of classic Xbox games, you think maybe Halo. Some people might think Mech Assault, or what was it, Brute Force.
Didn't Morrowind come out on original Xbox?
Yeah, Morrowind came out on original Xbox, but or Deus Ex was another one that was really good on the Xbox.
There was a whole bunch of yeah.
But Phantom Dust, I feel it. When I hear people talk about their favorite games on the Xbox, I rarely hear people say anything about Phantom Dust, but yet they are bringing it back. So this just came as a huge surprise to me. And I can't wait to see what it looks like. as a finished product.
Speaking of out of left field and bringing things back, so there's a game that's already, or like technically it's a game, but it's also almost a creation platform, which is called Project Spark, and it's by Microsoft Studios. For those who don't know, it's almost, it's kind of like a game creation thing where you make your own game and then you can play it and then you can play levels made by other people. It just sounds a little bit like Little Big Planet, but I think it's like kind of on a larger scale, or it's a little bit different. It's not necessarily 2D, it's 3D, and you have more access to assets. Again, I couldn't care less. It's not my bag. But at the end of the trailer that they showed for this game, none other than Conker from the Conker's Bad Fur Day game came out, and he said he cut the logo in half, and a bunch of people were thinking, wait, is Rare going to put out a new Conker game? And this is like the best segue ever. It didn't happen like that at all. It was just announced that Conker was a playable character that you can mess around with in Project Spark. And I was like, what's unfortunate is that is the most exciting and coolest thing Rare has done in like a decade. Is just have Conker available in another game. Yeah.
Well, I mean, for Conker. I think we've talked about Conker on Ranj and Riddick in the morning, haven't we?
He's our audience. People who like Conker Bad Fur Day will probably like Ranj and Riddick in the morning. I think that's...
This is a true statement. It's too bad that they didn't relaunch Conker. I mean, that I would have gone out right then and there and bought an Xbox One.
I mean, I wouldn't have if it was coming out in 2015. That's just there's a year of nothing to just have the Xbox One. Don't open it. Just buy it. Keep it in the corner and be like, one day.
One day you will be opened. One day.
When there's
but it is not this day.
Yeah, when there's a $14.99 downloadable game that taps into my nostalgia, I will open you, and I will have a good time. Let's see. I'm looking through my write-up again, just to kind of remember. Fable Legends, the first Fable game not designed with Peter Molyneux in mind, looked kind of interesting. Got a demo on stage. It's a co-op game where you and three other friends can traverse levels. But the cool thing is that, and it retains a lot of the same gameplay mechanics, including kind of the hack and slash action RPG. Staples of the genre, not of the genre, of the series, rather. But one person can act as the villain and kind of bomb in on the other player's days and set traps and tell enemies who to attack and stuff like that. And it looked kind of interesting. Again, it's nothing for me to run out and buy an Xbox One for, but it is an Xbox One exclusive, not on PC, which is kind of a drag because the Fable games usually come out on PC, and then I can kind of collect them there. Let's see. We'll talk about Halo last because it's a really big thing.
What is Halo?
Okay, another cool game that is cross-platform, so I couldn't care less that it was shown at the Microsoft booth or on this Microsoft stage because whatever. Is the next game from Deadbone Studios, which are the people that created Limbo, and it's called Inside.
Inside, yes, I saw this.
Yeah, so they released a short trailer. It looks like Limbo. Looks like it plays like Limbo, but I'm kind of intrigued in kind of the story because it looks as though you're a slave or something of that nature, and you're trapped inside something and you're just trying to break out. Which, I mean, Limbo nailed atmosphere, and it looks like this game is nailing it as well. I'm extremely excited to see how it goes down. In fact, if you're a Vita owner, Limbo is free this month.
Yeah. Yes,
so
it is.
If you
already downloaded it.
Yeah, if you haven't played that and you wanted to see what the stuff is all about, you should check it out.
Yep.
Let's see. A gameplay demo of Tom Clancy's The Division was played.
That game looks so freaking sweet. I can't wait for that game.
Have no interest in it, but it looked great, and it's post-apocalyptic New York City, and it's my neck of the woods. So I was like, oh man, I like 34th Street. I go there all the time when it's Penn Station, guys. Come on. The ravages of time. I'm actually interested in playing that game and seeing how well they nailed New York City, because I know the city well enough that if I played through it, I could. If it's kind of open worldy, I could check it out and be like, oh man, that's my favorite burger place.
I'm sure they're going to have your favorite burger place in the game too.
By the way, Paul's, the burger joint on the corner of let's see, I think it's 2nd Avenue and 8th Street.
Good. I'm glad that you shared that with us, Brandt. Can we talk about Halo now? Is it time for Halo?
Yes, it's time for us to talk about Halo.
Because they announced a pretty awesome thing. They announced the Halo Master Chief Collection, bundling Halo 1, 2, 3, and 4 in one package. All the original multiplayer maps are there, which you said. I'm actually reading from your. And just like in Halo Anniversary Edition, you'll be able to toggle back and forth between the different versions. What I thought was really cool, and you did not add this into your article, is that the Halo 2 multiplayer maps you'll be able to go into with Forge and play around with.
Interesting. I may have missed that just in writing stuff down, writing down notes.
Because I mean, some of the Halo 2 maps are my all-time favorite. Specifically, I forget if it was called Lockdown or Lockout. It was like that snowy level. But it was really, really an awesome level, and I would love to be able to go into that game with Forge and really mess around with it.
Yeah, again, it's a love letter to fans of the Halo series. It's all four of the Halos, the canonical Halos featuring Master Chief, or starring Master Chief, I suppose. 4,000 gamer score, so if you like your achievement points...
Yeah, buddy!
Do that again. I could not care less about that specifically. I liked Halo Combat Evolved quite a bit. I didn't really play too much of all of the others. It would be cool. It would be. I'm interested. Again, I have a friend with an Xbox One who's definitely going to buy this game probably day one, and so I'd like to play it around a little bit. I hope that they have split screen multiplayer for the first game, just as kind of like the nod to like, oh yeah, this is how kind of we used to do things.
Halo is the only game that I can think of that makes me wish I had an Xbox. But to me, the game's not worth $460.
Yeah, but it is. If you're an Xbox fan, that's a lot of content for $60.
It is. It is a lot of content for $60. But again,
I mean, I'm sure as shit not gonna buy it.
It's unfortunate, but
that was their big megaton though, so they had the chance to like bungle that, and they did the exact opposite. They were just
Microsoft really stepped it up with their conference this year. Everything that I've heard about people's reactions to it has been nothing but positive. So I'm very, very impressed. I think they really bounced back from last year.
No doubt. I mean, again, I have absolutely no interest in buying the console, but I was not bored during the entire 90-minute presentation. So
right.
That should say something.
Exactly.
I cannot say the same thing about Sony's conference.
See, I think you're just a negative Nancy. Negative.
First of all, listen. Don't call me Nancy.
I will call you whatever I want to, Bridget.
All right, Tiffany. How's breakfast?
It's always delicious when you're at my place.
Cool. Audrey Hepburn was awesome. R.I.P.
Yes.
Now, I think that Sony may have overall had kind of the better, more interesting games. Definitely more diversity, which is kind of par for the course with Sony. Sony always has some, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but they just have weird shit sometimes. They're here you go. Here's like an interesting game with like a dragon and a fish, and it's got the control of this game of brothers, and it's made by graduate students. It's the first game. We're putting them on the conference.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I feel like people are forgetting with Sony is they did their big conference last year. Their big games conference was last year. And they did show off some new stuff. They had some funny little parts. Right. And yes, they did not talk about games the entire time, like, what's the other company called?
Microsoft.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you were here to remind me.
Macro hard.
Macro hard. Okay, but they didn't talk about it. But I feel like they still had a very good presence. but I also understand why people didn't like it. To start the conference off, I thought they had a pretty big reveal.
That was great.
That
was excellent. Destiny,
and Peter Dinklage being what looked like the Monitor from Halo, pretty much. I was sitting here watching the conference with my wife, and I was like, "Is that Peter Dinklage?"
And it is.
And she's like, "It sounds like it." And I mean that's awesome. It is freaking awesome, and I can't wait for Destiny. Destiny looks like it's going to be sick.
Sony can't have Halo, but they can have the next Halo.
Yes.
By the people who made Halo. So I was remarking, I had a friend here, Johnny, who's an up and doing regular.
Johnny Bravo?
Johnny Bravo, and I took some mushrooms, and I watched this conference with Johnny Bravo. It was so great. It may have just been like hair gel and a hamster, but I swear to you, it was Johnny Bravo. And he and I looked at him, and I'm like, this is Halo. And the more it went on, he looked at me, he's like, this is Halo. And I'm like, it looks like Halo. It seems like Halo. It plays. It looks like Halo. Again, first-person shooter's not really my bag. I'm probably never going to pick it up. I mean, if like 5 years down the road, it's a PS Plus game or PS4, I'm not going to just say, hey, no. But it's not something that I'm going to go out of my way and play. But it looks really cool. It does admittedly look really cool.
Always come to your neighbor's house and give it a try.
Again, if I had mushrooms, then Alameda would be simply a single step to the left. But I'm not going to be hallucinating in Fruitvale, as much as that sounds like a great indie rock EP.
That does.
Tripping at Fruitvale. Tripping in Fruitvale.
Tripping in Fruitvale.
So yeah, no, Sony started at the gate very strong.
Mm-hmm.
And why don't you? I did a whole bunch of the Microsoft stuff and wrote about it. You're writing about the Sony stuff. Take it away.
So right after that, we go into the Order 1886, and we see some gameplay footage, which is really the first gameplay footage we've seen. Period.
Right.
And the game, it's looking good. In my opinion. There have been those concerns that the game is not anywhere near being ready for people to see or play or anything like that. But this small section that they had, it looked pretty, it looked playable, and it looked enticing.
Yeah, the vertical slice they gave us was very, very cool. But again, the only information that I've gotten from somebody who's played the game is Colin Moriarty, who's gone on record saying that the game looked really, really, really rough, and he caught a bunch of flack for it. But he looked really rough, and that he was very glad that it was pushed back. And in fact, I agree with him. That game probably does need a whole bunch of work. But if they're polishing the rest of the game up to the point that vertical slice was, if the entire game is of that caliber, of that quality, then I think you have a really cool IP. And in fact, I'm probably going to pick that game up. It looks really good.
Mm-hmm. No, that game does look really fun. Entwined came out next, and that was that was this game where you control these two dragons, and you have to, for lack of a better word, you're kind of navigating these obstacle courses, trying to build up points and do kind of epic things. But you control each one with your thumbstick, and one thumbstick controls the red one thumbstick controls the blue one. And watching this conference, Brandt, I was huge into theater lighting and sound and all that. And I have to say, just the way they lit the stage while they presented this was epic looking.
Yeah, no, it looked really interesting, and it was both Microsoft and Sony had one downloadable game available today moment.
Yep.
Microsoft had. I have a screenshot of it. It's Dead Rising 3 Super Ultra Arcade Remix Hyper Edition EX plus Infinity. And so and
Sony had Entwined.
Yeah, exactly. And I think actually, you know what? A lot can be parsed through that. Just that comparison.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it looked really interesting. I'm really not the only game that's come out with that control scheme that people seem to have liked is the Xbox Live arcade game Brothers from last year. It garnered a bunch of critical acclaim, and it seems as though this team, which again is made up of graduate students from two different schools with game creation degrees, and this is their first project. It seems as though they their final project was, hey, this Brothers game looked really interesting. What if we expound on that control scheme with almost a similar story of these two lovers that can't really be together, these two brothers that have to stick together. There's a whole bunch of interesting parallels that I think you can draw. And I'm very interested in hearing people's reactions because, again, the game's available now.
Yeah. It is. There's a mosquito flying by me. Now, what came up next, I got really excited about.
Okay.
Listeners of the Ridiculous Rants podcast know that I am probably Sucker Punch's #1 fan when it comes to Infamous.
Right.
And I love Infamous. I want more Infamous all the time, every day, all day, day and night. And what did they do earlier this evening? They told me that in August, I am going to get my wish. And it's going to be in the form of an expansion that does not require Infamous Second Son to play.
Right, and actually, is this the first DLC that you can pre-order?
I think it might be.
Because I was like, hey...
So, this isn't what I would consider DLC, because it's a standalone game. Because, I got in this argument with Infamous. What was it? The one that came out with Infamous 2, the Halloween one, where he was a vampire.
I'm not too familiar with the Infamous the franchise, so I do know.
That was another game that came out where you didn't need Infamous to play, so it wasn't truly DLC. It was a separate mini game in and of itself.
Right.
And that's what Infamous First Light is. And in Infamous First Light, you're going to get a little bit of the story of Fetch, which is the girl with the neon powers in Infamous Second Son. So I'm really excited to see where that pans out, just being a huge Infamous fan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm interested. I almost wish that they would repackage the first couple of games as kind of, we can't even say an HD collection because they're HD to begin with, but a next-gen collection. But a little later on in this podcast and in their conference, they may have satiated that need.
Yes, absolutely. And I have something really, really exciting something that really excites me.
All right, but let's keep rolling.
Yes, keeping the ball rolling. Shuhei Yoshida.
God, I love that man. He responded to one of my tweets a couple days ago.
He is really good at responding to tweets. I think I've tweeted at him a few times, and he's responded every time. So
he's truly for a person of his stature, he is an extremely humble person.
Yes, he's a stand-up guy. I met him at Beyond 300.
So did I. I have a photograph with him, and I treasure that photograph.
Yeah, that's the future.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, he joins the stage to talk about a new game coming out from a well-known and well-loved developer, Shut Up Lee.
That's one of my favorite publishers. Shut Up Lee.
Shut Up Lee. That's the developer. No, From Software.
Yes.
Bloodborne.
So cool.
This game looks really kind of epic.
Demon Souls-like?
Yeah, Demon Souls who made Demon Souls.
Shotguns. Shotguns.
Demon Souls and shotguns. Demon Souls plus Doom plus Dragon Age plus Love plus XOXO Gossip Girl.
Right. Don't tell people my password to Twitter. It's very rude of you.
I'm sorry. That's the I in Gossip Girl. is a 1.
Yeah.
By the way.
Yeah, I wanted. Way to let people know my secret.
So that game looks really exciting, and new game. New game is new.
New game is new. Looks really cool. Very excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, and then Far Cry 4 takes the stage.
Right, elephants.
Introduces you to that beautiful Himalayan environment.
Elephants.
And co-op.
Elephants.
Yes, elephants. But there's co-op for it. And what looks like actual single-player campaign co-op. And here's the really neat thing about it. When you play on the PS3 and the PS4, you can invite your friends to play this game with you, even if they don't have the game.
That actually is really cool. I mean, second to the elephants, but that's really awesome.
Well, I mean, that just baffled me. I had to rewatch that part like 3 or 4 times just to make sure I understood it right, because I was like, oh, haha, you can invite your friends to play even if they don't have it. I'm going to invite my friends. Oh, you don't have the game? Too bad. Haha. Still good.
I mean, if you're gonna buy the game, invite me, because I'm not gonna buy it. But I'll definitely.
Yeah. Oh, I'm definitely going to get that game.
Not my bag. Again, not my bag.
I loved Far Cry 3.
Right.
That game is beautiful. That game was fun. Yeah. I'm really excited about this one. It looks really enjoyable.
It had elephants. The trailer had elephants.
The trailer did have elephants. And you can weaponize those elephants.
Which is, you don't mess with the elephants.
No, you don't.
No, the only other console that I've ever heard of that has this type of functionality, and definitely was not through the internet, was the original DS. Allowed you to have that download play. Yeah, so if you had Mario Kart, you could play with 4 people. 3 friends could download some data. They could only play as Toad or Shy Guy or something. And you could all play Mario Kart, it was mind blowing then because it was still wireless, but here it's kind of really super wireless, and good on them for implementing that technology. It's not the first time, it wouldn't be rather the last time during this conference that Sony laid some crazy fucking technology in terms of cross-gen, cross-console saves, and we'll get into that a little later because that was again big mind blower.
Yeah. Next trailer for Dead Island 2.
Yeah, Jack Black was in it.
Yeah, that entire time that trailer was going, I really wanted to just laugh. It was a very comical trailer, and it reminded me of the opening to Dead Island #1.
Right.
Which I never played all the way through, and I wish I did. But I'm excited about Dead Island 2, but I will say I probably won't play it.
This is a silly zombie game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's all I have to say about it. If you like silly zombie games, go for it.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of zombies, The Last of Us has infected Diablo 3.
Oh, goodness gracious. It's actually, Diablo 3 is a game that I will buy on the PS4.
Yeah, I
could not care less about the fact that The Last of Us.
You don't want to fight clickers and bloaters in Diablo 3?
No, I don't want to play Diablo 3 Retcon Edition. Just give me Diablo 3 with like uber extra cool stuff, and don't feel as though you need to tie stuff in just because you're on a Sony console.
Yeah. Other things mentioned, the Battlefield Hardline beta was available on PSN. Grappling hooks. I mean, that's
big deal.
Cool. And they described it as very much like the Cops and Robbers games you used to play as a kid. And watching the trailer that they had in there definitely looks like Cops and Robbers.
Right.
I will never get another Battlefield game ever again.
Yeah.
Not
I have no interest.
Sorry, EA. Not sorry.
The only Battlefield game I played was 1943, the downloadable game for.
I love Battlefield 1943.
Yeah, I like that. I like that game a whole bunch, but I haven't played. It was like the last first-person shooter I played, and that was like 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Paradox Studios is working on a bunch of PS4 exclusives.
Right.
And they had probably one of the funniest trailers I've ever seen for Magicka 2.
Yes, that was actually a laugh out loud trailer.
That was watching him just sit there and When he accidentally blew up his cat.
Cat.
Oh my gosh, I nearly lost it. I don't even know what it was, but I nearly lost it.
You were about to lose your mind, and you thought you'd like it.
Yeah.
As a fan, I have Magica 1 on Steam. It's in my backlog. I think I bought it for like 99 cents during a Steam sale. But Magica 2, it was actually that trailer was a almost like a video game commercial throwback to the 90s when that's the main way to get a new, get the word out about a new game is like a funny, quirky trailer with a little bit of gameplay footage in it. Reminds me of Nintendo was really, really good at that, even in the mid-2000s with the We Would Like to Play campaign. So there was a big smile on my face, just as kind of a gamer who really appreciated video game commercials in the late 90s and early 2000s.
Yep. And I never played Magica 1, but the commercial was funny enough for me to want to play Magica 2.
Well, if Magica 1 is like 99 cents during the Steam Summer Sale, you should pick it up and we should play it.
Okay, I'll do that.
There you go. We can be friends.
Oh, I don't know if I want to do this anymore.
Are you talking to me? We're like midstream, sir. No, I don't want to do this anymore.
PlayStation got this very heartfelt letter from a 10-year-old girl. Man. It was actually Tim Schafer.
Who's a wonderful human. I've met Tim Schafer. Tim Schafer did me a huge solid. My girlfriend, now she's my girlfriend, is a huge fan of Tim Schafer's, and I met him at an event, and an event that he put on called the Day of the Devs on the Day of the Dead this past in 2013, and they had some swag, and I bought it, and I went right up to him, having never met him, and asked him to sign it for her, and he did with absolutely, he was like, of course, let me do it right now, and it was great, and he wrote something really funny and witty. Tim Schafer's a stand-up guy. I'm going to buy Grim the Fuck Fandango when it comes out for the PlayStation 4.
Oh, heck yeah. Talos Principle was shown a bit.
Well, they did like an indie sizzle reel.
Yeah. And then Giant Squid, or the mind behind Journey, is making a game, an underwater game that I will totally be getting and playing.
Day one.
Abzu. Abzu? Abzu. Okay, Abzu. Looks absolutely gorgeous. Looks like more Journey, but underwater.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that's the best way to describe it. It looked like Journey, but underwater.
Right. It did. I'm excited for it.
Brand new game. Console debut on PlayStation 4. No
Right.
Man's Sky. No Man's Sky by Hello Games. That game looks absolutely just out of this world. No pun intended.
Oh my god, it looks amazing. Procedurally generated.
Procedurally generated. That is what got me. It's like no two people are going to see the same game. And if they do...
Or at least the first starting section of the game. You'll have your own section. And actually, so again, my friend Johnny was sitting next to me. I do media blackouts. And so this is my one exception where I see trailers and stuff at E3, but then for the rest of the year I just don't watch them. I try not to learn anything about games that I'm interested in. I like to get interested enough in a game to know I want it and then know nothing about it so I don't, ruin the experience. And he was
Good
like,
thing you're trying to be a journalist.
Right, I know, it's a double-edged sword. So there's some stuff, but some stuff it's like if I can go whole hog and then play a game early, like I got to play Valiant Hearts early, which is shown at this conference. I got to go to Ubisoft and play that game early and talk to one of the developers. So like that's really, really cool. But so he said that when you start, the area you start in is named after you, and then when people go by that section, they'll say like this is the Brandt planet or whatever, like whatever your PSN name is. This is like that.
Freaking cool.
It's like you have this part of the map, and so like people can come and visit that. Even like 5 years later, that'll still be like your section of the game, which is fucking amazing.
Yeah. It's.
By the way, I think you may have skipped over something in your zeal to talk about the one Polish man developed game Nomansky. I think that you skirted around talking about the one demo fail that I've seen so far, which is really unfortunate, of Little Big Planet.
Oh yeah, Little Big Planet.
It's a huge deal.
You know,
Little Big
I'm
Planet.
not a Little Big Planet fan.
Yeah, but you still have to write about it. It happened.
I know I have to write about it.
Yes, he edits the piece now. So Little Big Planet 3 was shown. And what was so it was a it was a trailer and then a gameplay demo, and the problem was that the demo was a failure on multiple counts.
I think like three of the four people that were played Little Big Planet for the very first time.
Yeah,
on stage.
The demo, the gameplay looked really rough because the people could not pull off the moves that they were talking about, and so there was. I remember right at the beginning, I knew it was going to be a train wreck because there was a woman who was like, "Oh, and this character could do wall jumps," and she could not do a wall jump.
It's like she jumped at the wall, and I'm like, is she sure that character can do wall jumps?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen wall jumps. I've played Super Mario 64. I've played Mega Man X for the SNES. I know what a wall jump looks like. That was not a wall jump. And eventually she got it, and she vamped about the fact that she was messing up the wall jump. And you know, the whole crux of the announcement was that in addition to Sackboy, there are three of Sackboy's friends.
Yeah.
And so they were all shown, and their unique abilities were all shown, but all three of the unique abilities were like messed up in some way, or the people that were controlling them did not know how to make.
Except for the guy using the bird.
Yeah, okay. The bird guy did kind of have a handle.
The bird guy knew what he was doing.
Didn't he actually save them a couple of times when characters
he was
would
like,
fall?
Okay, you guys can't do this. I'm just gonna pick you up and carry you.
He was kind of the ringer, I think.
Yeah.
But the other problem was that the demo itself was marred by audio issues, so you could not hear the main person speaking, and they were the one trying to tell you about all the cool new things in Little Big Planet 3. So it was just like the people who were kind of, unfortunately, not doing a great job playing the game were talking way over the person who was talking about the actual, trying to extol the virtues of the game itself, which is really unfortunate. Again, it's not a game for me. I've never been that interested. I think it's gorgeous and adorable and coming in November, which is interesting. Yeah. But now having spoken about Little Big Planet, we can move on to,
Project Morpheus.
Yes, which will. This was the part of the conference where things got weird and they stopped talking about games.
They talked about games a little bit more
kind of
to come. So for me, listening to the conference, the rest of the conference from this point on was the stuff that I really wanted to hear about. I know I'm in the minority there, but a lot of the stuff from here on are things that I was really excited to hear about, and one of them was definitely Project Morpheus.
Yeah, I'm totally interested in that.
And I mean, they said after their recent announcement at CES that they've actually got a bunch of creative teams worldwide trying to work out getting this product released, and it's playable at E3 for people that are going to be there. And they've got I think they have 3 demos.
Right.
A Jurassic Encounter, which looks like what it sounds like, a dinosaur encounter game. And then Eve Valkyrie, which is something that they had available at CES. And I didn't catch the third one before they took the screen away. But I'm sure it was probably the Shark Tank one.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really excited about Project Morpheus because I want to see Project Morpheus beat Oculus Rift.
Yes.
But I want to see where immersive gaming goes. Listeners of the Ridiculous Rants podcast, one of the first episodes that we did was immersive gaming and the future of it and all that. And I think where immersive gaming is going is something to be incredibly excited about.
Yeah. No, it's cool, and they own the platform. It's not owned by Facebook and this and that. Although I'm sure that the people investing in Project Morpheus will have kind of a say in a little bit of it.
Yeah.
But it looks cool. It looks interesting, or rather, it seems interesting. We haven't really seen too much of it, but it seems SEMS kind of interesting. And yeah, okay. So this was kind of the little bit of statistics and quasi new hardware and North American stuff.
Hey, YouTube to PS4. That's exciting.
Right, and with live stream stuff.
With live stream stuff.
So you can, if you're a YouTuber, it's a big thing.
Yeah. which if you're listening to the Ridiculous Rants podcast or Ranj and Riddick in the morning or anything like that, you are listening to something powered by YouTube.
It's true. I agree.
So I'm very excited that PS4 is going to support this because guess what? Let's Plays on the Ridiculous Rants or NKR network are going to start happening.
Exactly.
The other cool thing is that with some of the streaming stuff, you're going to be able to actually interact with the gamer while spectating the game. So you'll be able to kind of affect things that happen in game. They didn't really go into any more detail, but I can't wait to see where that goes.
See, I wish they had saved this until a point where they could, because it all sounds great and kind of like pie in the sky, but I wish that with
they could have shown it.
Yeah, I know it's hard with Morpheus because you're dealing with something that you have to kind of see through the eyes of the thing, and it's never going to translate well to an on-stage demo. But they're talking about things that I'm like, again, it sounds really, really great, but I really, really wish that this was happening when you could show me something.
Yeah, well, and they are showing people something. They're just not showing us that something.
Exactly, that's what I'm talking about.
They're trying to get people to go to their booth at E3. I mean, come on.
Yeah, but the thing is that I think that if you're at E3, you're gonna be like, are we gonna go to Sony? I don't think we should go to Sony. I don't think that those people are. I don't think those folks at Sony have anything worth seeing. I think that it's kind of a lock that if you're one of the big developers, that people are gonna come by your booth. I guess it's more of an incentive so they can take pictures of long lines, but
absolutely, it is. I mean, the thing is, it's going to take people away from Microsoft's booth because there are going to be those people stuck waiting in that damn line to do Project Morpheus.
All right. And after they announced all these things, the conference rolled on.
Yeah. PlayStation TV. Take out PlayStation Vita TV, and PlayStation TV is coming to North America.
Right.
I thought this thing was cool. So to give you guys a rundown on what the PlayStation TV does, it's a $99 device, okay, comparable in price to your Apple TV. But the neat thing about it is it pairs with your PS4, much like your Vita will, and you can remote play from it from a second TV in your home, which I think is really neat because one of the things that really bothered me about the PS3 is every time I wanted to play the PS3 in the bedroom, I had to unplug the PS3 and move it into the bedroom and then switch and flip-flop and crisscross.
Right.
You know, all those sorts of things. And with this kind of device, it's going to make that kind of thing easier. And it's Sony's reaction to things like the Amazon Fire TV or Apple TV or Google Chromecast. Granted, I think their price point might be a little high, but if you think about it this way, it's also going to support PlayStation Now and play most Vita titles, including PS1 and PS2 classics. So essentially, you are getting 4 consoles in one for the price of $99.
If this, I'll have to wait for more details to emerge and to wait for some reviews to see exactly how well it does, but this might be an insta-buy for me.
Yeah. I mean, it is really neat, and PlayStation managed to go 2 E3s in a row with hardware announcements.
It's true.
And I think this is a big thing for him. This is what's... If Vita's going to come back strong, this is what's going to get it to come back strong.
Right. I agree.
And they also announced a bundle for like $140. You can get the Vita TV. You'll get a DualShock 3 controller. To the roaring applause of the audience.
DualShock 3.
The Lego Movie video game. I've never heard more crickets chirp after an announcement like that.
I know.
But no, I mean it was cool.
You know what? If they had said $139 with 3 months of PlayStation Plus, a memory card, DualShock 4.
But
You would have
the
heard some
DualShock
applause.
4 is not going to work with the.
Yeah, I know. I wish it did.
Yeah, I agree. Anyways, let's move on. Mortal Kombat X? Mortal Kombat 10? What
Mortal
are we
Kombat
calling
10.
it? Okay. Gameplay footage. We
Brutal.
got. Oh my goodness. That was. That was. That was rough to watch.
Yeah, it was Mortal Kombat.
It was. I don't know what I was expecting, but for some reason, I was thinking that was not going to be as brutal as it was.
As Mortal or Kombat-y?
Yeah. Not a huge Mortal Kombat fan. I like my Injustice, and I usually stick more to like Marvel vs. Capcom or things like that. Characters I care about. Mortal Kombat doesn't really have the characters I care about. Ooh, I like Soul Calibur too. Soul Calibur is awesome.
Soul Calibur's so awesome.
Yeah, and Super Smash Brothers, which comes out this year. But yeah, so that's pretty neat. Another big announcement. Last year they had mentioned that they're going to start some brand new original programming exclusively on the PS4.
See, here's what we're gonna do. You're gonna talk about this. I'm gonna go on my phone.
Okay.
And do exactly what I was doing for this part of the conference. So you talk about this part.
Okay. So they announced a brand new show called Powers, which as soon as they said Powers, I immediately started freaking out because I'm like, oh my god, is this going to be based on the Brian Michael Bendis comic? And sure enough, it's a game based on the Brian Michael Bendis comic that he created. It's a show about these two homicide detectives that investigate murders or that have to do with people with superpowers. Really, really cool story, and Brian Michael Bendis is one of my all-time favorite comic book writers, just period. And the producers of Walking Dead and Falling Skies are going to be working on it, so there's going to be there's some good clout behind the show, and it's going to be available in December in the U.S. and every PlayStation Network user is going to get the first episode for free. And what made me really happy, and I mean it was a no-brainer announcement, and I can't imagine that they would have done it any differently, but the entire Powers series is going to be free for PlayStation Plus users.
All right, we good?
Do you want to keep on looking, because now I'm going to talk about the Ratchet and Clank movie.
Okay.
Okay. They also announced that they're doing the Ratchet and Clank movie. Insomniac is heavily involved in the movie, and there's going to be a new game releasing around the same time in the first half of 2015. Never really played Ratchet and Clank, so I don't care as much about that. But I know people like Ratchet and Clank, so there you go.
Yeah, I hope the movie's good, and I hope that folks who like the Power series really dig it. Again, it's free, so I'll check it out. But these aren't things that I'm necessarily really jazzed about.
I bet I'm willing to bet money on it right now. I bet Powers will be as exciting a thing as Game of Thrones.
Interesting. Good point. This is on the record, and it's archived.
It is on the record.
So we'll talk about it.
I may eat my words, but I think this will be awesome. Everything is awesome, as my best friends Tegan and Sarah once told me. The Last of Us, they showed a
spoiler-full trailer.
Oh my goodness, so many spoilers! But the very first thing that showed up was the thing that made me actually cry while playing that game. And that was, spoilers, the death of Joel's daughter. And oh my god, that game just it hits me right in the feels.
I didn't cry, but I was not happy during the entire 72-hour period that I was playing that game.
Yeah. No.
I was
I love that game though. It's a great game.
It's incredible. I don't know if I can play it again. I don't know if I have it in me to do that again, to just go through that kind of emotional
I
barrel, but
agree.
it's so
The
good.
multiplayer in that game, though, was one of my favorite multiplayers that I've played in a game in a really long time, though. So I might go for that. Um, a long, very dramatic and exciting Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain trailer.
I don't know what happened. I legitimately
I,
there's just so I don't know what
there,
happened.
there was so much going on in that trailer, and there was blood, there were gunshots, there was rain, there were swords, there were knives, there were helicopters and lasers, and I just it was really exciting. And I've never played a Metal Gear Solid game before ever.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh man, like you should really fix that.
I know, and maybe with that whole Vita thing that I have, I might do that.
You should. It was on sale recently. It'll be on sale again.
Yeah, I'm sure it will.
The HD collection's on sale, and it's like sometimes it's like $7.50, which is I think what the price was when I bought it, and that's
Yeah.
stupid price for those games.
I can wait for that to happen. Um, GTA 5 coming to PS4. Everyone's super surprised about that, I'm sure.
Okay,
Um,
okay, I
but
want to say something here.
okay.
So it's again it's a next gen remake, but the
Yep.
craziest thing about this game is that if you had an Xbox 360 and you played Grand Theft Auto 5 on the Xbox 360, you can transfer your save to the PlayStation 4.
That is exactly what I was going to bring up.
That
That is
nuts.
that is a slap in the face, Microsoft. And I think it's great.
I
I'm
think it's
sure
nuts.
I'm sure when GTA 5 comes out for the Xbox One, the same is going to be true for people that want to do the PS3.
But what if it isn't?
If it's not, then holy shit.
I
Good job
really
on you, Sony. I want to know whose child you kidnapped to make that an exclusive deal between you and
Rockstar.
I almost said Rocksteady, which is
No.
the next thing.
Yes.
Um, I don't know if you saw my tweets, but they said Rocksteady, and I just immediately started tweeting Batman, Batman. I am so
Batman.
freaking excited about this game.
It might be the best. It might be the game of E3 for me.
Yeah, I mean this game, this
Batman.
game.
I mean, it's coming off the news, again, fairly recently that it got pushed back to 2015. But if they need
I
time to
don't care.
polish that game,
That game is going to be perfect. Okay, that's the end of the story.
it's an incredible looking Batman game.
It is beautiful, and they're showing stuff running in engine, and it's an absolutely beautiful game, and I just don't know what to do with myself between now and the time that it comes out. But I will wait. I will wait until the end of time itself to play that game. And I mean, you get to see some of the driving and the new fighting stuff that you can do in the Batmobile, and some of the new just fight combos in general that you're able to do are just epic.
Scarecrow looks scary.
Holy crap! Yeah, he does. Um, and exclusive content is coming to the PS4, which is Scarecrow and Nightwing missions.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if if that means like actual single player Scarecrow and Nightwing missions, like the whole Catwoman thing, or if it's like the Joker missions in Arkham Asylum, where it's really just the challenges. But that game looks unbelievable.
It looks incredible.
And then they had their one more thing moment.
It's true.
Um, Uncharted 4, A Thief's
Trailer.
End.
Teaser trailer with with the caveat that it does have an official subtitle, A Thief's End. It could be the last Uncharted game.
It could be, and it sounds like it is. I mean, because not only did they say, not only is the title A Thief's End, but before they rolled the trailer, they said our this incredibly big studio or famous studio is bringing a series back one last time.
Yeah.
So, and that was also a phrase uttered quite a bit in the trailer of Uncharted. It was just, we're going to do this for one last time. And Sully just responds, "All right, kid, one last time." And looks really awesome. Looks like an older Nathan Drake for sure. Like he looks like he's put some years on him since Uncharted 3, and I'm really excited to see where that goes. But that was the end.
Right. There are a couple things that I think that we missed that I want to go back and talk about. First of all, PlayStation now got an official beta release date of what, July 30th?
Yes. Oh, I didn't say that?
No.
Okay.
July 30th if you're a PS4 owner. It's an open beta.
Yep.
And actually, apparently, I've been on Twitter seeing any interesting stuff that's been going on. PlayStation Now rentals will be, for most titles, the pricing will be between $3 and $20.
For how long?
I don't know if it says.
Okay.
Nope. It just says that Sony, the shortest periods will be priced as low as $2.99. And then it could go up to $20. But you know what? To be honest, I might make a lot of use out of that. I might do like a binge weekend and play, a game for $6 or $7 and just kind of be done with it.
Trophies. Yeah, and I may have also forgotten to mention that The Last of Us has a release date too, and that's July 29th, 2014.
Right, and one thing that we forgot. It was glaring, and it was an error on my part because I was just skimming through my notes for the Xbox press conference. Tomb Raider.
Oh, dude, Tomb Raider, that looks so good.
Tomb Raider Rises looks incredible.
No, the Rise.
The Rise of Tomb Raider. Right.
Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Rise of the Tomb Raider.
I was a huge fan of the recent reboot of Tomb Raider. I think this Lara Croft is a much better character in general, because there's actual character to her. And I'm not talking about breasts, I'm actually talking about real character.
Mm-hmm.
It looks great. And it looks beautiful like the last one looks, and I'm excited to play it.
Yeah, it looks excellent. Again, another 2015 title. Two things that were before we wrap this up. Two things that were not announced at the Sony press conference. One, Last Guardian, nothing.
Shocking.
After there was a story put up on IGN.com a couple of days ago that it was canceled, and then an update saying that in fact the source that they had was not credible enough for them to have run the story, and with an apology. And there was scuttlebutt that it would be announced or shown off again at E3. It was not, and they mentioned original PS1 game Ribbon twice on stage, and I think showed a clip of it when one of the announcers said, when we're talking about the next announcer, the first thing that comes to mind is this, and they showed a clip of Vib Ribbon. Vib Ribbon is a music game that came out in Japan and Europe for the original PlayStation in 1999. Never came to the U.S. The hype was so high for there to be a Vib Ribbon announcement for the PS4 during E3 that Vib Ribbon was a trending topic on Twitter.
That's pretty impressive.
In the United States, a territory in which it was never released.
Yep. Makes sense. I mean, why not?
And actually, so again, Twitter, courtesy of Mr. James Milkey, who listeners may know is a very, very well-known and well-regarded video game journalist. He tweeted, "I'm literally talking to Masaya Matsura right now about tonight's whole Vib Ribbon explosion. He is surprised and amused. Bring it out next year, guys." I mean, it would have to work with the way the game worked is that you would put in compact discs into your PlayStation 1 and it would generate monsters and stuff. You could do it with MP3s now, or Spotify, or playlists, or anything.
Or maybe Sony Music Unlimited?
Oh my God, Vibribbon. Hashtag Vibribbon. So
All right, that's day one.
Day one. There's another day.
Yeah.
There's another company, another conference.
No, another conference, another day. Are we going to be doing coverage on the other days as well, other than the big conferences?
We'll see what happens. I got a job interview on Wednesday. We'll see how I'm doing with that.
All right.
But tomorrow I'll definitely write about the Nintendo conference.
Thank you so much, because I'll be at work during that, and it sucks.
I'll be doing work.
Yep, just like that.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a ridiculous evening. Brandt Ranj, where can they find you on the internet? Be quick.
Okay, so you can find me on Twitter at @BRanch. You can find my podcast on iTunes, Minor League Geeks. You can find that on Twitter, ML Geeks. You can find my writing on BrandtRanch.com, ReadRetro.com, and officially NKRN.org.
All right. And, of course, you can always find me at Ben Riddick on Twitter. You can listen to my other podcast, Ridiculous Rants.
Isn't this Ridiculous Rants?
Yeah.
Listen to your other show, Ranj and Riddick in the morning, every Tuesday morning.
Yes, Ranj and Riddick in the morning, every Tuesday morning. No Ranj and Riddick this tomorrow morning, though, thanks to E3 and work schedules. So stay tuned next week for Ranj and Riddick in the morning.
Remember, if you like Conker's Bad Fur Day, you'll love our show.
Yes, exactly. It's actually the entire Ranj and Riddick in the morning is Conker's Bad Fur Day. And of course, you can always find my writing on www.nkrn.org. Guys, it's been a ridiculous evening, and remember, you can't spell ridiculous without Riddick.